General Brawner, the Philippines' top military official, made a startling announcement that would reverberate across the globe. He rejected US aid in the face of growing Chinese aggression in the South China Sea, a region fraught with tension and territorial disputes. This decision sent shockwaves through the Philippines and the world, raising eyebrows and questions about the future of regional security. It was a gamble, a bold statement of self-reliance and national pride. Brawner was essentially saying that the Philippines would stand alone against a giant, a move that required immense courage and confidence. The decision stemmed from a recent incident that had escalated tensions. Chinese ships had blocked Philippine vessels, creating a standoff that could have led to a larger conflict. These vessels were on a crucial resupply mission, carrying essential supplies for the troops stationed in the disputed area. They were headed to Second Thomas Shoal, a strategic location in the contested waters. This shoal is within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, making it a critical point of national interest. The US offered naval escorts for future missions to ensure safe passage. Brawner, however, refused. He insisted the Philippines could handle the situation independently, showcasing his confidence in the nation's military capabilities. This decision was not made in a vacuum. It was the result of careful deliberation and strategic planning. It reflected a growing sentiment in the Philippines, a desire for greater autonomy and self-determination. Many Filipinos are wary of becoming too reliant on the US. They remember the past and the complexities of their historical relationship. The Philippines was a US colony for decades, a period that left a lasting impact on the national psyche. This history casts a long shadow, influencing current decisions and attitudes. Brawner's decision was a gamble, a calculated risk that could redefine the nation's future. He was betting on the Philippines' ability to defend itself, a testament to the nation's growing military strength. He was also betting on China's restraint, hoping that diplomacy would prevail over aggression. It was a high-stakes game of poker, with each move carefully calculated, and the stakes were nothing less than Philippine sovereignty, a cause worth fighting for. General Brawner's decision ignited a firestorm of controversy in the Philippines, sending shockwaves through the nation. Public opinion was sharply divided. Some lauded Brawner's courage and saw him as a hero. They saw his decision as a long-overdue declaration of independence, a bold move to reclaim national pride. Others were aghast. They viewed it as reckless and dangerous, fearing the potential consequences. Social media exploded with heated debates, with hashtags trending and opinions clashing. Protests erupted in the streets, with people from all walks of life joining in. Filipinos argued passionately for and against Brawner's decision, each side convinced of their stance. It was a stark reminder of the deep divisions within Philippine society, highlighting the complexity of the issue. Those who supported Brawner argued that the Philippines needed to stand up for itself and assert its sovereignty. They were tired of being treated like a pawn in a geopolitical game, feeling the need for true independence. They believed that accepting US aid would only perpetuate the country's dependence, chaining it to foreign interests. They wanted the Philippines to chart its own course, free from external influence and control. Opponents of Brawner's decision were equally vocal, expressing their concerns loudly and clearly. They argued that the Philippines was not ready to face China alone, pointing to the potential risks. They pointed to the vast disparity in military might, emphasizing the danger of provoking a superpower. They feared that Brawner's gamble would backfire, leading to conflict and possibly even defeat. The debate raged on, with no end in sight. It was a microcosm of the larger struggle facing the Philippines, a nation at a crossroads. How could a small nation assert its rights in the face of pressure from a superpower like China? The question loomed large. There were no easy answers, only a complex web of challenges and uncertainties. China's actions in the South China Sea have been increasingly assertive in recent years, causing significant concern among neighboring countries and the international community. Beijing claims almost the entire sea as its own, a stance that has been met with widespread opposition. This claim is based on a vague 9-dash line that has no basis in international law, yet China continues to assert its dominance. China has been building artificial islands in the South China Sea, transforming reefs and atolls into military outposts. It has militarized these islands, equipping them with runways, radar systems and missile launchers. It deploys warships and Coast Guard vessels to patrol the waters, ensuring a constant military presence. These actions have raised alarm bells across the region and beyond, prompting calls for international intervention. China's ultimate goal is to control this vital waterway, which is crucial for global trade and regional security. The South China Sea is a major shipping route with trillions of dollars worth of goods passing through annually. It is also rich in fish stocks and potential oil and gas reserves, making it a highly coveted area. Control of the South China Sea would give China immense economic and strategic leverage, altering the balance of power in the region. China's actions have brought it into conflict with several countries, leading to heightened tensions and diplomatic standoffs. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan all have overlapping claims in the South China Sea, complicating the situation further. But China has shown little regard for these claims, often acting unilaterally and aggressively. China's behavior is a classic example of a powerful country throwing its weight around, using its influence to reshape the regional order. It is using its military and economic might to bully its smaller neighbors. This behavior is unacceptable and poses a significant threat to regional stability and peace. The South China Sea dispute is not new. It has been simmering for decades, but it has escalated in recent years as China has become more powerful and assertive. In 2012, China seized control of Scarborough Shoal. This shoal is located within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The Philippines protested, but it was powerless to stop China. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled against China's claims in the South China Sea. The tribunal found that China had no legal basis for its 9-line claim. China rejected the ruling. It has continued to assert its claims. China's actions have created a climate of fear and uncertainty in the region. Countries are left wondering what China will do next. They are caught between a rock and a hard place. They need to defend their interests, but they cannot afford to provoke a conflict with China. The American dilemma: to intervene or not. The United States has a long-standing interest in the South China Sea. It's a major shipping route for American goods, and the US has a treaty obligation to defend the Philippines. The US has conducted freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. These operations are designed to challenge China's excessive maritime claims. The US has also provided military aid to the Philippines. However, the US is wary of getting dragged into a conflict with China. It does not want to risk a war, and it does not want to alienate China, which is a major trading partner. The US is therefore walking a tightrope. It wants to support its allies, but it does not want to provoke a crisis. This is a difficult balancing act, and there are no easy answers. The South China Sea dispute has drawn international attention. Many countries are concerned about China's behavior. They see it as a threat to regional peace and stability. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, has been trying to negotiate a code of conduct for the South China Sea. But progress has been slow. China has been reluctant to agree to any binding rules. The European Union has also expressed concern about the situation in the South China Sea. It has called on all parties to respect international law. The international community needs to send a clear message to China. Its behavior is unacceptable. China must respect the rights of its neighbors, and it must abide by international law. The Philippines needs a new strategy to deal with China. Relying on the US is not enough. The Philippines needs to be able to defend itself. The Philippines needs to modernize its armed forces. It needs to invest in new ships, planes and weapons. It also needs to improve its intelligence gathering capabilities. The Philippines should also strengthen its alliances with other countries. This includes countries like Japan, Australia and India. These countries share the Philippines' concerns about China. They can work together to counter China's assertiveness. The Philippines should not rely solely on military power. It should also use diplomacy and international law to defend its interests. The Philippines should continue to raise the South China Sea issue in international forums. It should rally support from other countries. And it should pressure China to abide by international law. The Philippines should also work to resolve the dispute through dialogue. It should engage in talks with China. And it should seek a peaceful solution that respects the rights of all parties. The price of inaction, a future under threat. The stakes are high for the Philippines. If it does not stand up to China, it risks losing control of its exclusive economic zone. This would have a devastating impact on the Philippine economy. But the consequences go beyond economics. China's actions threaten the very fabric of the international order. If China is allowed to get away with its behavior in the South China Sea, it will embolden it to act aggressively elsewhere. The Philippines is on the front lines of a global struggle. It is a struggle between those who believe in a rules-based international order and those who seek to undermine it. The outcome of this struggle will have profound implications for the future. The fight for Philippine sovereignty. The Philippines faces a daunting challenge, but it is not alone. The international community must stand with the Philippines. It must send a clear message to China. Its behavior is unacceptable. The world is watching. The future of the international order is at stake. The Philippines must not be allowed to stand alone.